Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another retro review, and today we've got something very special. I mean, real special. And if you know anything about anything, you know what I'm showing off today. Tiny bit rare. Just a tiny bit. And what we have today is the WCW Toy Biz Evolution of Sting 6-pack. Not only is it one of the coolest box sets ever made in the history of our great sport, but it's Sting. And growing up as a WCW kid, Sting was the shit. Sting was my man. You know, Surfer Sting was obviously where I started out, and then of course the evolution into the Crow version of Sting. I have a lot of time for Sting. I think he's fantastic. I think he's just one of those characters that are kind of timeless. And just being able to have such a career is definitely a lot to say. But man, in the history of wrestling figures, this is probably one of the coolest box sets ever made. Aesthetically, the design of it's real cool. Shows 4 different versions of Sting on the front of it. You see headshots of each figure in the windows. And it's got a little Velcro sticker here at the top that keeps the windows closed. And then there are the figures right there. All the way down the line, from the oldest version of Sting to the newest version of Sting. Beautiful, beautiful set. Now, this set, as I said, was made by Toy Biz, who had the license for WCW stuff in the later years. This particular box set is extremely difficult to find. I'm going to put that up on the screen there for a second, so if you want to pause it and try to read the blurb on the back, you can. And then, of course, there's some shots of the figures themselves to kind of show off what each figure does and how their little mechanical actions work. It's very nice. The scorpion designs on the box are almost like a silver color, which is really, really neat. I mean, this box was very well designed. Looks absolutely incredible. Big as hell, by the way. So even if this is something I ever came to terms with myself and decided I just needed to sell, I don't know if I ever could, because I don't think I could trust shipping a box that's this size. Because it would A, cost a fortune, and B, wouldn't take a lot to damage it. Fortunately, mine is in pretty damn good shape. No discoloring or sun damage, which is really nice. Really, the only thing that's even kind of an issue on mine is there's a little bit of a groove, kind of right here where all the windows are. But even that's not terrible. You know, that's just typical warping from there being holes cut into the cardboard. And of course, the weight just kind of fluctuates with it. But man, so this particular box set was made, I believe, right around 2000, 2001, which is kind of the peak of WCW Toy Biz stuff. They had made a ton of figures by this point already, and also the figures in this set. The blonde Surfer Sting figures, as far as I know, those were all original versions of Sting. Like, I don't think you could actually buy Surfer Sting in Toy Biz format single on card, to my knowledge, unless something came out that, you know, unbeknownst to me. But the 3 Crow Stings, both the black and white and the tomato face Sting, all of those had been made multiple times over multiple sets. Just, you know, different variations to their, you know, their ring gear, the jacket, whatever. So, for example, the first Sting right there in the middle, the black and white one, there's no kind of deco on his suit. It's just a black bodysuit, which is a little interesting because he's always had, to my knowledge, some kind of deco on his bodysuit as the Crow Sting. And so this is another version of that same Sting that has the actual deco on the bodysuit, as well as the white spots on the gloves, which is really cool. These figures are great. Like, I think Toy Biz WCW stuff is horribly underrated, just because, you know, they had all the little mechanical features on them, Like this one, you basically squeeze the legs and the shoulders would, you know, kind of bump out, which is real nice. And also finding these things in good shape is also a little difficult. Also, you pull the head back, that would do it as well. So if you do the 2-for-1, you get the real wide spread. But these figures are very cool looking. I've got a ton of them on my display at the top of my case over there. I've actually got the entire Nitro Arena with some loose figures, which if you want to see those, you can check that out in my toy room tour. Just look on my channel. There's a subscriber milestone toy room tour video there, and I show off some of that display in that video. But like I said, this is just one of the many versions of this same mold body type version of the black and white Crow Sting. And then if you look over here in the middle, you've got the tomato face Wolfpack Sting. I'm trying to get the light to not like reflect off it so bad. But the jacket on that's actually really cool. Soft Goods. They re-released that one in a single figure format as well, like this, with no shirt. Has the NWO logo there on the front. There is some deco on the actual bodysuit too, with some like scorpions, which is real nice. And then of course you've got the red pads on the legs. Again, really cool figure. And honestly, if you actually take the jacket off and stack it up right next to the other one, in terms of like kind of like looking how the shoulders are, it has that same mechanical feature to it. So they basically use the same body mold. They just changed the paint up just a little bit. And of course, it looks like the top may not be quite as wide by the neck. The heads look pretty similar. The hair even down to the general shape looks pretty well the same. I think maybe the head may look a little smaller just because of the red face paint, honestly. It just, I don't know, there's something about that red face paint that just doesn't make the face look quite as big as the black and white. So I think it may just be some kind of weird color depth perception thing. But yeah, but that's another version of that Sting with the black trench coat from the Wolfpack. That was re-released in a single figure format. Now, the funny thing is the last one right there. I can honestly tell you that out of all the Sting figures, even, I mean, really with the exception of maybe the Defining Moments Mattel Sting figure, that one right there is probably my favorite Sting figure in the Sting Crow era. I mean, because it just looks perfect. The face looks awesome. It's got a rubber jacket on it, which looks really good. The tights look accurate. I mean, it's probably, to me, and even the face looks way different than the other two figures. You can see the paint difference between that one and that one. But that Mattel, or that Toy Biz Sting right there is probably my favorite version of Toy Biz Sting that was ever manufactured. I don't know if they made that one a single card format or not. It's kind of weird with the WCW Toy Biz stuff. There's so much of it that was made. It's kind of, it's a lot like with some of the later era Jakks WWF stuff, where there was so much made. It's kind of hard to really find a way to have an actual like complete checklist to know what exactly was made, because you had a lot of like in-store exclusives like Kmart and Walmart or Toys R Us, KB Toys. Like you would have all these exclusives, and that kind of muddied the waters a little bit for knowing, you know, being able to have an actual checklist to know if you have an actual set or not. And I know they still struggle with that on a lot of the WWF Jakks stuff. There was kind of a hot debate over, you know, Ruthless Aggression stuff a while back through the Major Pod group on somebody having a full, actual complete collection or not. And it's kind of like that way with some of this WCW Toy Biz stuff. Of course, there was other Sting versions, or Sting figures that were made, kind of like... there was one, it looked like it was from some kind of like mutant battle armor set that was kind of cartoony. And he had like a big scorpion baseball bat with him and had like silver pads on his tights. And then there, I believe they made one that was an actual monster version that looked kind of cool. But definitely a total departure from an actual wrestler. And then there was, I believe, there was like a set where there's kind of like water battles, like a water fight, weird water gun set. I can't remember what the hell it was called, like Bash of the Beach or Beach Bashers or some weird shit like that. That they had a Sting for that. But out of all the Sting stuff, like this set is by far the definitive Sting collection when it comes to action figures depicting Sting. Because even with the Surfer Sting versions, just being able to get those figures like that is very odd. And especially with this Sting right here, because he's got longer hair, is not your typical crew cut, and it's silver white. I mean, it is white as hell. So I found that to be interesting as well. But still, an incredible set. If you've never seen it, here you go. Like I said, it's pretty hard to come across. These things are pretty pricey still. I think if you could find one in good shape, you're probably talking anywhere between $200 to $300, depending on the seller, and that's not even counting shipping. Usually that's going to cost that person a fortune. But beautiful set. If you're a Sting fan, and if you're looking for something to add to your collection that is Sting related, this is something I highly recommend if you have the means and the funds to make it happen. I just think it's really, really fantastic. And there's a lot of displayability with it, and a lot of history with this, honestly. So yeah, highly recommend it. WCW Toy Biz Evolution of Sting is our retro figure review for today. But guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for checking out the video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at CollectingRaj. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Feel free to chat me up or ask a question, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. Or if you have any information about this stuff that I may have overlooked or missed, by all means, feel free to bring it up. I have no problem discussing these things, and I love learning new things, even if, it's something I may have overlooked. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for checking it out, and woo! Have yourselves an awesome week.